Mutant animals take over the zoo, and a clever girl learns that music can save the day. Can she and her friends stop the chaos and fix the zoo? Watch to find out. Gracie was often bored with her grandma Abigail's constant stories about bad things happening. She found them to be just silly superstitions. However, something new caught Gracie's eye. A fierce-looking mountain lion named Dan had arrived at the zoo. Gracie wasn't frightened by Dan. She was curious about her new neighbor. Saying goodbye to the zoo animals was always hard for visiting kids who never wanted to leave. But on this boring day, everything changed. A satellite crashed into a space rock, sending a meteorite into the zoo. It rolled straight into the bunny lodge where Bunny Zero discovered glowing peanuts. Excited and curious, he ate the glowing peanuts, and nothing was ever the same again. Gracie, curious about the glowing object, followed its trail to the bunny lodge. There, she found a glowing purple heart and got too close, awakening a mutant, her worst nightmare. Terrified, Gracie ran as fast as she could from the beast chasing her. She stumbled through the zoo, landing right before Dan, which frightened her even more. Just then, the zookeeper tranquilized Dan, putting him to sleep. Gracie, too, was accidentally hit with the sleep shot. Gracie woke up to find herself behind bars. In her cell, she met Xavier, a movie-loving red-ruffed lemur who shared movie survival tricks. Dan was also locked up nearby. The three exchanged words, and Dan wanted to be freed instead of Gracie. Meanwhile, the mutant bunny regrouped and started infecting other bunnies, making them into zombies that were eager to wreak havoc. At the monkey lodge, Fred the monkey sensed danger, but his friend Felix was too sleepy to notice. Suddenly, the mutant bunnies attacked, infecting more monkeys. Fred found a temporary safe spot with Felix, but Felix betrayed him and escaped alone. Felix ran to the veterinary clinic, barely managing to open the door. Inside, he met Frida and Ash. Inside the clinic, they spotted Gracie and Dan, who seemed dangerous at first. Xavier freed Gracie, but hesitated to release Dan. Suddenly, mutant Fred banged on the door. Gracie held it shut, while Dan struggled to escape his cage. Mutant Fred's hand squeezed through the door, chasing Felix. Dan managed to break free and stop the hand, but was sedated again. Everyone left him behind, except Gracie, who helped drag Dan along. Touched, Dan agreed to be her bodyguard in exchange for the key she promised him. They set off together. Elsewhere, the others sneaked past a mutant. Ash accidentally made noise, alerting the mutant, but Xavier cleverly distracted it. Dan and Gracie escaped through a drainage system. Soon, Gracie and Dan reached the balls section, where they found Poot. Gracie decided to help Poot too. The other team explored a toy room, initially frightened, but soon realized it was harmless. Dan led Gracie to her PAX area. She called for Grandma Abigail, but found her turned into a mutant along with the others. As Gracie approached, her grandmother rubbed slime on her. Dan quickly intervened and saved Gracie and Poot. However, Gracie and Dan argued, and the zoo lights accidentally turned on, revealing mutants surrounding them. In a desperate run for survival, Dan, Gracie, and Poot battled through the mutants. They hopped onto a cable car system, but mutant Fred blocked them. They managed to get a break, but Fred returned, more dangerous than before. Dan fought bravely, but became a mutant himself, forcing Gracie to flee. Gracie ended up in a storage room. In a lucky turn of events, Dan slipped into soapy water while dramatic music played, curing him. Although initially reluctant to help, Dan eventually decided to assist Gracie with her soapy cure idea, despite his harsh feelings. Meanwhile, the others faced a mutant invading their hideout. Felix sneaked out with the keys but encountered more danger. Luckily, Dan found him, rescued the keys, and returned them to Felix. Gracie reunited with her team and inspired them to use the soapy water idea to cure the other animals. The team executed their plan with everyone pitching in. Just as the plan was in motion, Dan returned to help. Gracie was relieved to see him. Unfortunately, the soapy water plan backfired, creating a giant monster. Poot got infected, and Gracie felt defeated. In despair, they sought refuge again, but mutant Poot followed. Surprisingly, Poot was cured upon hearing the zoo's goodbye music. Realizing it was the music, not the soap, that was curing everyone, Gracie organized a new plan. With a wider broadcast of the music, The mutants, including mutant Felix, couldn't cover their ears fast enough. One by one, they returned to their normal selves. As the night turned to dawn, everyone in the zoo, including Grandma Abigail and the pack, had been cured. Dan tried to leave without a farewell, but Gracie called out to him. In a bittersweet goodbye, Dan handed Gracie the key, inviting her to explore the wild whenever she wanted. Gracie was overjoyed, and so was everyone at the zoo, grateful for the new day.